You know how sometimes the most dramatic stories come from really unexpected places?
Oh, absolutely. You think you know a genre, and then something just pops up.
Well, we're diving into one like that today. It's from Japanese theater, a no play.
No, right. Very distinct style.
Yeah, this one's called Ikkaku Sennin, and we're exploring it using an English translation by William Packard, which originally appeared in Players magazine.
That's interesting in itself. Bringing no to an English-speaking audience is
Yeah,
such a specific art form. The masks, the stylization, minimalism.
totally. It creates this whole other world.
Right. And Ikkaku-sen in itself, the story, it sounds fascinating even before you get into the staging.
It really is. The main figure, Ikkaku Sennin, he's a hermit, right?
Yeah.
Lives up in the mountains.
Mhm.
But his origin story involves, get this, dragon gods. There was some kind of affair of honor, and now he has magic powers.
Wow. Okay, so you've got the sacred, the hermit aspect, but mixed with pure fantasy, dragon gods.
Exactly. That blend is what grabbed me. So our mission really for this deep dive is to unpack Ikkaku Sennin. Look at the key parts, the characters, the main conflict.
And figure out what makes this old story still, well, maybe still interesting today.
Yeah. So let's start with the adaptation itself. It's Packard's English version we're using.
Right, which is key. Packard's goal was accessibility. He wanted people outside Japan to get a sense of no.
But he knew it was tough, right? Translating not just words, but the poetry, the sounds.
Oh, absolutely. He mentions that. Trying to capture the spirit, even if you lose some of the specific poetic or phonetic qualities of the original Jedi's. It's a common translation challenge, but maybe amplified with no.
And the staging, too. No is so visual, even in its minimalism, those masks, the movement. How does an English text deal with that?
Well, Packard's text seems focused more on the narrative, the story, and the language itself. It kind of has to be for someone reading it, especially back then.
You mean because American audiences wouldn't have seen much?
No, exactly. He pointed out, the limited exposure to serious Japanese theater in the U.S. at that time. So this translation, it was potentially a first introduction for many people.
A bridge, sort of.
Precisely, a way into this really rich theatrical world.
Okay, so let's dive into the story then. Act 1. We meet the Waki first. He's an attendant.
That's right. He serves King Bharana. The kingdom is in India, along the Ganges River.
And why is he there? What's his job in the play?
His main task is to find Ikkaku Sennin. The king sent him. Because, well, the hermit's up in the mountains, and he apparently has these magical powers now.
Which connect back to that affair of honor with the dragon gods you mentioned.
Exactly. The play doesn't spell out the whole backstory right away, but that's the source of his power. Some kind of dispute gave him this edge.
And this edge is causing problems, big problems.
Huge problems. The Waki explains the king's worry. It hasn't rained in years, like a severe drought.
Why? Because the hermit did something.
Yeah. Out of spite, it seems, from that earlier conflict, he used his power to trap the dragon gods, the ones who bring rain inside a cave.
So he's literally holding the kingdom's water supply hostage.
Pretty much. The drought is crippling everything. You can feel the desperation.
Wow, okay. And the Waki has this description of the hermit. It sounds pretty wild.
It really does. He says the hermit was born from a deer, has a single horn.
A unicorn hermit?
Sort of. Single horn, long deer legs, but
Right.
the upper body of a human. And, of course, magic powers. It immediately sets him up as this, extraordinary liminal figure.
Part animal, part human, part magic.
Right. Not quite fitting anywhere.
So the Waki's job is to find this deer man unicorn hermit and convince him to let the dragons go so it can rain again.
That's the mission. High stakes, difficult journey into the mountains.
He doesn't go totally alone, though. There's a companion.
Correct. A Waki companion is mentioned, mainly carrying supplies like luggage and a baldric. It just adds a touch of realism to the quest, I think. Shows it's a real trek.
Okay, so they head into the mountains, and they find him, Ikkaku Sennin, the Shite.
They do. And our first glimpse of the hermit, the Shite character, is actually quite peaceful.
Oh, not like magically menacing.
No, not initially. He's just there, in his mountain home, playing music by himself, seemingly content with the changing seasons, the solitude.
So connected to nature, withdrawn from the world.
Very much so, enjoying his isolation.
Until these guys show up.
Right. Bawaki and his companion disrupt that peace. But they aren't the only ones. We also meet the AI characters.
Yay, who are they?
In this play, it's a wizard and a lady, and they have servants too. They're basically travelers who've gotten lost.
Lost in the same mountains.
Yeah, the terrain is difficult. They stumble upon the hermit and ask for his help, directions to get back on their way.
Does he help them? Or is he trying to stay isolated?
Well, he's reluctant at first, doesn't really want to get involved.
Okay.
But then the lady speaks to him, and she's persuasive, talks about beauty and how fleeting it is,
Yeah.
kind of challenging his whole ascetic vibe.
Ah, so she's not just asking for directions, she's poking at his worldview.
Exactly. It's a really crucial moment. She uses her charm, her words about earthly beauty to sort of get under his skin.
And does it work?
It does. He yields. He's apparently struck by her beauty, her arguments, and agrees to guide them.
But this is the turning point, right? This interaction costs him something.
Big time. This is where his magic starts to weaken.
Yeah.
His connection to her, to earthly beauty, and maybe desire, it breaks his spiritual focus.
Interesting. So helping someone actually leads to his downfall in a way.
Or at least being swayed by earthly beauty does. It's the vulnerability point.
Okay, so that moves us into Act 2. We see the chur mentioned, chorus or attendants.
Yeah, they're with the lady. They don't have distinct lines in this version, but they kind of reinforce her presence, her impact, part of her entourage, you could say.
Got it. And the main thing in Act 2 is Ikkaku Sennin, the shite, but he's changed.
Definitely. He's weakened. That encounter with the lady, it really did a number on his powers.
How so? What's different?
His magic is fading. The play makes it clear. Her beauty, the earthly desires she represented or stirred in him, they broke his concentration. The source of his power is compromised.
Does he realize it?
Oh, yeah. He laments it. He talks about losing his holy hermit unicorn form, losing the magic he had. It's a real fall from grace.
So his spiritual power was tied to his detachment, and that detachment is gone.
That's the core of it. His focus was shattered by this encounter with, well, human allure.
And meanwhile, what about the dragon gods? Still stuck in the cave.
They are, but things are getting unstable. You hear them. There are descriptions of rumbling sounds, even earthquakes.
Because they're trapped.
Yeah, their confinement is disrupting everything. You get the sense they're powerful forces being held against their will, and the pressure is building.
And the play suggests they were right to be angry at the hermit in the first place.
It implies their anger was justified, yeah.
Yeah.
That the hermit's action, imprisoning them out of spite after that affair of honor, was the original transgression against the natural order.
So now that the hermit's power is waning,
he can't hold them anymore. His grip weakens.
and they get free.
They burst out. And the moment they're free, the rain starts. Finally.
Ah, so the release of the dragons directly brings the rain back. Order restored.
Exactly. The drought ends, nature's rebalanced, all because the hermit lost the power fueled by his detachment and perhaps his anger.
Okay, let's step back and think about the themes then. What really stands out from this whole story?
Well, the big one is definitely that tension. Asceticism versus, earthly desires.
Right.
Spiritual power versus human connection or temptation.
The hermit gains power by withdrawing, but loses it when he re-engages.
Right. It makes you question where true strength lies. Is it total detachment, or is vulnerability inherent in connection? The play doesn't give an easy answer, I think.
Yeah, it just shows the conflict. And the drought itself is such a powerful image.
Oh, absolutely. It's the direct consequence of disrupting the natural balance. The hermit's anger, his spite, has these massive kingdom-wide effects. It's a clear symbol of how personal actions, especially holding on to negativity, can ripple outwards.
Holding the dragons hostage, holding back the rain. It's like holding on to anger itself.
That's a great way to put it. And the rain returning signifies release, healing, rebalancing.
What about the role of beauty? The lady's influence is huge.
It really is. Beauty, or perhaps temptation associated with it, acts as the catalyst for the hermit's change. It challenges his power, shows his vulnerability. It suggests maybe even magical spiritual power isn't immune to fundamental human attractions or connections.
It's the thing that breaks the spell, so to speak.
Right, and the whole story has this cyclical feel, doesn't it?
Yeah, rise to power, the fall, then restoration of harmony. But the harmony is restored partly because of his fall.
Exactly. It's not just back to square one. His diminished power allows the natural order to reassert itself. It speaks to that idea of a balanced cause and effect.
And let's not forget just how weirdly cool the core idea is.
Right. A hermit born from a deer who controls dragons. It's undeniably imaginative.
That definitely hooks you. It caters to that interest in the strange, the mythical, the did you know kind of fact.
Well, for sure. That fantastical element is a big part of its charm, mixing the relatable human drama with something utterly extraordinary.
So, wrapping up our deep dive on Ikkaku Sennin, we've looked at this no play about, well, a magical hermit,
Uh-huh. With a very unique backstory.
his big fight with the dragon gods, and how that messes up the whole natural world, leading to drought.
And those really surprising bits definitely stick with you.
Yeah.
The deer origins, controlling dragons, but then being brought down by essentially human charm or allure.
It says something fascinating about power, doesn't it? Even otherworldly power has its limits, its vulnerabilities.
It really does. And it makes you think, doesn't it? Here's this story from centuries ago dealing with these, like, timeless struggles.
Hmm.
Power, desire, the balance between the spirit and the earth, humans and nature.
Yeah. It makes you wonder what other incredible stories like this, maybe with equally surprising twists, are just waiting out there in different theater traditions around the world. What else haven't we seen?